right, well, we are here with longtime popular conference speaker, Fernando Silvetti. It's always wonderful to see you, Fernando. Fernando has been a leading expert in mixed reality and simulations for years and years and years, and always has the coolest demos that you're ever going to see. So we're looking forward to learning more about several of his projects in this conference, and this is the first one, which is on speech analysis for advanced simulations. And I think with that, I'm going to just turn it over to Fernando and let you take it away.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, David. Hello, everybody. More than happy to be here again. I have with me some recordings from the field, and I'm about to share my screen and my audio in order to have all onboarded and all jumping into, let's say, the same page. Just let me open this. You should see my cover like me. I'm talking also on behalf of Barbara, Roxanne, and Rebecca. We are working in order to test and develop, mainly for medical simulation and more generally for organizational behavior simulation, something that we call speech analysis. It's a tool to allow very precise feedback and some measurement related to KPIs about verbal communication, both the words and, let's say, the emotions behind the words. So I can start with our recordings. I'm here, but in such a way we can see something from the field, and you can listen to the colleague of mine as well.
Welcome to the telehealth line. A new account has been created for you. Now we can start testing your voice. Please take a deep breath and say "ah" for as long as you can. Thank you. We will now test your speech using a short sentence.
The quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog.
Our focus today is about a speech analysis tool that we developed to help simulation instructors to track, individually, both the tone of voice and spoken words of the learners, providing a semantic and pragmatic overview of interpersonal communication aimed at detecting emotions and fixation errors. This is the way it works.
For simulation instructors, taking notes about all the sentences is pretty possible. Furthermore, emotions and paraverbal communication matter a lot, but it's not so easy analyzing them in an appropriate way, mainly without a specific tool. Not to say that artificial intelligence and voice technology are going to completely disrupt the way we experience healthcare. we are entering the era of ambient computing, and vocal biomarkers will be at the center of the scene. Let's ask Dr. Terry Fisher from the University of British Columbia in Vancouver, Canada, something about vocal biomarkers.
The best way to explain this is to think about an analogy with digital photography. So as you may know, when you take a photograph, in addition to hopefully catching a beautiful photo, you also capture data that is known as metadata. That includes things like what camera did you use, what was the aperture setting, the shutter speed, GPS coordinates, and so on. Well, in voice, you can capture similar data, and it's typically known as vocal biomarkers. When my son comes home from school, and I ask him, "How was school today?" And he says to me, "It was great." That has one meaning. And when I ask him the next day, "How was school today?" and he says to me, "It was great." The exact same words, completely different meaning. And if you can start to describe those differences, and you can, based on frequency, intensity, pitch, rhythm, and other variables, the artificial intelligence can start to tease out those patterns and start to identify significant changes.
Now let's analyze some avatar talks.
We have to talk, and it won't be easy for you. You might say I'm an aggressive lady. Are you ready to talk? There are dozens of trainings on the topic of difficult, crucial, or challenging conversations. But that is not the way to learn how to handle me. I am unique, and you can start your own training with me. Try to adjust your attitude and techniques for maximum effectiveness. Hi, we have to talk, and it won't be easy for you. You might say, I'm an aggressive lady. Are you ready to talk? There are dozens of trainings on the topic of difficult, crucial, or challenging conversations. But that's not the way to learn how to handle me. I'm unique, and you can start your own training with me. Try to adjust your attitude and techniques for maximum effectiveness. From what you've told me, I can see how you came to the conclusion that I'm not a team player. And I think I am. When I present problems with a project, I'm thinking about its long-term success. I don't mean to be a critic, but maybe I sound like one. Perhaps we can talk about how to address these issues so that my intention is clear. From what you've told me, I can see how you came to the conclusion that I'm not a team player. And I think I am. When I present problems with a project, I'm thinking about its long-term success. I don't mean to be a critic, but maybe I sound like one. Perhaps we can talk about how to address these issues so that my intention is clear. I'm wondering what was on your mind at the time the latest tests were performed in the class. It seemed to me that you were anxious about answering formal questions. What were your feelings? How can I support you to sustain and improve your performance? I'm wondering what was on your mind at the time the latest tests were performed in the class. It seemed to me that you were anxious about answering formal questions. What were your feelings? How can I support you to sustain and improve your performance?
Hello, my name is Barbara Bertagni. I'm a psychologist, a founder, and a managing partner of LogosNet. I had the chance to be the head of the team that designed and developed the speech analysis tool. What I'd love to share with you is that as a psychologist, my focus during the simulations is on interpersonal communication dynamics and the impact of the emotions on teamwork. So far, into medical simulation, we are used to analyze these aspects with our competence and our sensibility, but the risk of misinterpretation is high. And sometimes we feel like human attention is not enough to intercept all the complexity of a communication. To solve this issue, we began thinking, what about having the possibility to record and analyze in real time both the verbal and nonverbal aspects of the speech? So 3 years ago, we began working on the speech analysis tool, and today we have a reliable instrument that helps us during the briefing with an objective tracking of the speech and voice. Now we can say that results show a robust improvement for conversational skills. Let's take a look. In this peek, we can see the report delivered by the tool at the end of a conversation. On the top, we have the indication of the session duration and the total number of words. On the left side, we have 4 different commands. Transcript, that is an actual visualization and shows the transcript of all the dialogue. Dialogue, that shows in a dialogic way the spoken words. In this case, we have only 2 people in dialogue, C1 and O in the big green lines. The system can track till 6 people during the same conversation, and the dialogue will be shown with a different color for each participant. Then we have the function keyword spotting that shows how many times a specific word has been pronounced during the conversation. Useful when we aim to work specifically on language. And finally, the word cloud that shows the words used more often, giving a visual representation of the main topics shared. On the right side of the window, we have 2 buttons that allows us to open the recording and the visualization of the non-verbal aspects of the speech, phrase by phrase. Let's see an example. The graphic shows us non-verbal aspects of the speech. Starting from the top, we have the speech waveform, then a blue line that represents the perceived loudness, and in black the pitch. Each speaker has his speaking style that gives a typical graphic representation. What is interesting is analyzing perturbations of this style during the speech. We are entering now in the field of speech emotion analysis that refers to analyze vocal behavior as a marker of emotions, mood, stress, focusing on the non-verbal aspects of speech. The basic assumption is that there is a set of objectively measurable voice parameters that reflect the affective state a person is currently experiencing. This assumption appears reasonable, given that most affective states involve physiological reactions, which in turn modify different aspects of the voice production process. So, the speech expresses emotional meaning not only through semantics, but also by varying different vocal attributes of the voice, such as pitch, loudness, vocal tone, average speaking rate. The average speaking rate usually is expressed in words per minute, the number on the upper right side of the screen. According to the National Center for Voice and Speech, the average conversation rate for English speakers in the United States is about 150 words per minute, but several factors could affect the overall speaking rate, such as mental fatigue and emotional tension. Hence, deduction of human emotion through voice and speech analysis has a practical plausibility and could potentially be beneficial for improving human conversational skills. With different emotions and moods, not only does the tonal quality vary, but the associated speech patterns change too. For instance, people may tend to talk in loud voices when angry and use shrill or high-pitched voices when in a scared or panicked emotional state. With the speech analysis, we can analyze vocal behavior as a marker of emotion and stress. Summarizing, being able to analyze the specific words and the voice during the most difficult moments of a simulation could be strategic to improve the conversational skills. The speech analysis tool aims to help simulationistas on this task and also opens a window on the emotional tension, analyzing not only what you say, but also physical properties of your voice, such as pitch, tone, and speed. And now, I leave the stage to Roxanne Garner that will share with us some thoughts about this tool.
Hello, my name is Roxanne Gardner. I'm an OBGYN physician at Brigham and Women's Hospital, and I'm the Senior Director of Clinical Programs at the Center for Medical Simulation in Boston, Massachusetts. Fernando Salvetti has asked me to provide my opinion about whether the speech analysis capabilities of the eReal system, the Enhanced Reality Laboratory, whether it's the online version or the in-person version, could be useful to healthcare simulationistas. In short, my answer is most definitely yes. I have not had the chance to use it myself yet. However, from what I've seen thus far, the speech analysis capabilities could facilitate qualitative research projects about individual and team interactions while they manage various events ranging from critical to routine. By automatically tracking and analyzing the speaking and communication patterns, one as a researcher can more quickly understand and appreciate to whom or to what conversations and attention is directed. Could provide insights into team dynamics, team cohesion and coherence, team style and focus of interprofessional or single professional teams across a variety of learners from novice to experts. I'm really looking forward to being able to take advantage of using the speech analysis tracking capabilities in future research projects. Thank you very much.
Okay, it's all. Thank you for your attention. We have left 10 minutes more, so I'm here, available to talk, to discuss, just in case to answer questions. I hope to be able to do so. If not, to forward your questions to the colleague of mine. We were looking at the speech analysis for medical simulation. At the same time, we are developing the same features for public speaking, negotiation, conflict management, and so on and so on. I listed just to share with you also all the fields we are trying to use this tool. There is available, thanks to David and to the organizers of this event, this first article about our tool, the speech analysis for advanced medical simulation, will be within our event readings. As you were before looking at our recordings, there was an acronym. IMSH 2021 is the leading event for medical simulation, the international community, held annually into the United States. We presented the first time our speech analysis tool last January online during this event. This is the second time I'm talking about the speech analysis. In the middle, we performed a lot of tests and the first real activities inside medical simulation classrooms, really a few because coronavirus, but we were able to perform a few. And results from our perspective are good. Also, Roxanne and her colleague Rebecca Garner started in the wild to test the system, not only to analyze all the documentation we were providing them. And at least apparently we can say that is useful in order to provide feedback that is not only based on subjectivity, on the instructor perception, is based on some measurement performed by the system itself. And this is, in our experience, a good way to align instructors and to be sure that we are providing the same type of feedback based on the same KPIs and measurement, even when we are delivering a huge number of classrooms. That is sometimes a challenging situation, because if you change instructors and if you have many instructors, it's not so easy being sure that all the instructors are 100% aligned and are able to track all the KPIs that are focused by the system. So this was why we decided to develop this software and some hardware related to the system. And this is why we are using the system inside the ERIA classroom. ERIA is into my virtual background today. So it's an immersive and interactive learning environment, sort of a hybrid reality setting. For me, it's really enough, because at the end are more than 22 minutes that you are exposed with videos, talks, images, observations. So from my side, it's time to stop and to thank you so much, and to really being available to answer now, live, in real time, questions, just in case.
All right. Well, thank you so much. No, that was great. And we do have one question so far in the Q&A from Andreas Pester. So good to see you, Andreas. Want to know, Fernando, did you test the tool in different languages? So Andreas suspects that the emotional background of Swedish speech versus, say, Italian speech might be very different. So was that something that you were able to test?
It is. We tested for the moment in two languages, American English and Italian. As an anthropologist, I fully agree. Emotions are culturally embedded. What seems, or at least what we assume, that doesn't change is electricity. So because our brains and because our bodies are based on electrical signals, the measurement is about pitch, tone, volume, pace of the voice, and the measurement may be the same in Sweden, in Italy, both in the northern part of Italy and in the southern part of Italy, because we too in Italy are highly diverse inside an only country. We speak different languages and we sound emotionally in a very different way. Same into the US. So what we try to measure are parameters that have to be interpreted, have to be, let's say, localized culturally, not only linguistically, according to the different knowledge and understanding from the different instructors. But the number of words per minute are the same in Sweden, in Italy, into the US. Then maybe we have to interpret, and we have to decide if the average number of words per minute is X, Y, Z. So interpretation. But at the source of the system, there are some measurement, and those are, in our opinion, pretty universal, because all of us, we are human beings. At least this is the way we are used to think.
Great. Andreas does have a follow-up. He mentioned that he did not see an emotional profile of the speech as one of the outputs.
The emotional profile is the outcome of the interpretation of the instructor based on paraverbal and not verbal cues. So Hertz, Decibel, pace, tone of the voice. So we are not providing something sort of emotional profile already ready to, let's say, be printed by the machine. The instructor has to interpret and to provide his or her own interpretation about the emotions that were, let's say, into the room or into the online platform at a specific time. What we directly provide are the number of spoken words, is the transcription of the spoken word, is a tool, a small search engine to find the spoken word and to start analyzing what was really said inside the simulation setting. And we start, thanks to the instructions, to correlate the content with the paraverbal and the not verbal aspect of the speeches. And we start correlating the different individual speakers' performances. So maybe we start analyzing peaks in terms of tone of voices related to two or more speakers, or into medical simulation. Many times we are in need to try to understand why something wrong happened, like a fixation error. Fixation error is when someone, usually into a medical equipe, is following an only and unique therapeutical direction. Sometimes it's right, sometimes it's wrong. And this could put at risk, really at risk, the patient life. So trying to understand why a fixation error occurred from a spoken communication perspective could provide some help, sometimes very relevant, in order to deliver a very effective debriefing and feedback. For sure, there are human beings performing as instructors, and there is a machine. The machine provides raw data. The human beings have to provide interpretation of the raw data. This is at least at the level of development of the tool we were able to reach so far.
That makes sense. One quick follow on. We're running out of time. When you look ahead, are you thinking you'll be able to personalize this at a certain level even more? Like there was the example from the other speaker you showed who talked about, someone coming and saying, my day was great. But some people that's more normal for them. Some people are more enthusiastic normally. Some people's benchmark is, much less enthusiastic. And if you hear what would be a mid-level level of enthusiasm, for them, that's fantastic. So is there something down the line where you think you'd want, be at the level of understanding the sort of the benchmarks per person, and that plays a role as well?
Lot of routes have still to be, let's say, ran. And we are just beta testing and introducing for the first time into medical settings and into organizational behavior settings some activities based on this tool. Just in case, if someone from our audience would love to jump into our beta testing, let me know. More than happy to share something more directly on the field.
Great. Okay, so there's a general beta testing offer, so people can reach out to you, I guess, through through your emails in your paper, or through Huva, or through anywhere else.
Yes, as you prefer. Yeah.
Any way that people want. Terrific. Well, that's a great way to end it. So people who want to join the beta testing, please do. Fernando, thank you so much. It was such a pleasure as always.
Me,
we'll see you again a few times more through the week. So it's
all the best. Thank you, everybody. Right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you. All right. So thanks again to Fernando.